This is a work called United Nations, Babel of the Millennium by Gu Wenda, who is a contemporary Chinese artist. We wanted to work with Gu Wenda, who's been one of the most important contemporary Chinese artists, who started working in the mid-'80s in China, then subsequently moved to the United States, and now works internationally. Presenting this work was a wonderful bringing together of people from the museum staff to assemble the panels and to raise them up, a very carefully calibrated balance. One panel is attached and then pulled up, and then another series of panels attached and pulled up, manning the ropes up at the top and the panels down below. And we had from guards to secretaries to people working in offices to curators, all working together here in the museum to bring this installation to life.
All right, okay, we're ready for that evening. Now we're going to do another pull. 1, 2, 3, pull. That was absolutely perfect. Once more. 1, 2, 3, pull. All right, 2 o'clock. Come up with that one, please.
I'm John Holland. I was in charge of the installation of the Gu Wenda. When we actually were hands-on, about 3 days of preparation before we actually started to raise it up. Each panel took 2 people below to kind of shuffle the pieces as they went up. 2 people on each rope, and that was after all the rigging and all the prep work for all that. When the piece starts to come together, it's quite beautiful. There's a stained glass feel effect to it as the light shines through.
This work is part of a series he started in the early 90s called United Nations, and he began collecting human hair from all over the world. And for this particular piece, he has human hair collected from 325 barbershops or hair salons from 18 different countries, from virtually every continent, from Europe, from the Americas, from Asia. But there are over 100 panels here in which the hair has been woven into what appears to be a text. But all of these texts are illegible. They're based on Chinese, English, Arabic, and Hindi. But in fact, none of them could be read. We might see fragments of an English language word, for example, but it actually won't make full sense. It's called Babel of the Millennium because going back to the story in the book Genesis in the Bible, humanity built a great tower, and the pride of humans seemed so out of place, their pride in having built this great tower, that God dispersed these people to all over the world, and they began to speak in languages so which they could no longer understand each other. So this is a very ancient story for humanity, reinterpreted in contemporary terms at the end of the 20th century as we're beginning to deal with a global world, that we understand each other, but only in fragments. That we think we might understand what language means, but in fact we're misunderstanding the implications, the subtexts, the nuances of language. He's creating a situation to think about who we are today as a series of global civilizations and societies, and how that this state goes back to the beginnings of humanity. So we haven't escaped that, we're still dealing with it. And doing it for this building, which has this extraordinary atrium coming up under this grand oculus, which is almost the eye of God looking down in the museum as a contemporary temple, a sacred space. And it is a place where we can try to talk to each other, to understand the meanings of our lives, of our culture, to meditate on those, to reflect on those, to think about history, to think about our place in the future.